In this chapter, we've been seeing how we can change semantic unordered lists into some very interesting design elements. For the last exercise, we're going to take a look at a different type of list, the definition list. I'm going to switch back over into Dreamweaver, and here you can see that we've set up a simple XHTML document which contains a DL, or definition list. So a little word about how definition lists are constructed. There are two main elements of a definition list, the first being the definition term, or DT, and the second being the definition data, or definition description as it's sometimes called. Each DT, definition term, has been given a unique identifier, and it contains an anchor to perhaps an author's biography, and also a portrait image. So if we look at this unstyled, let's save this file, flick back into our browser and do a refresh. And now we can see the basic result with only the browser's default styling and the global style sheet that we're using for these examples. So let's start to build up our design. First rule I'm going to apply inside this style element is some styling for the definition list itself. There are two important rules. The first is that I've set position relative to the DL, not because I want to move or offset it, but because I want to establish the definition list as a position in context for other items which sit inside. I've given it a predefined width. Also notice that I've given the definition list some padding top of 302 pixels. This is the space in which we're going to insert the image a little bit later on in the presentation. Next, I'm going to apply some styling to the definition term. Definition terms and definition data are block level elements which will occupy a single line in the browser. For this design, I want to reset the definition term to display in line so that the definition data will flow to the side of it. I've also reset the font size to 100% and overridden the browser's default presentation of DT with bold text to font weight normal, or plain text. Now some styling for the DD, or definition data. And once again, I've set the DD to display in line and changed the colour of the text to a mid-grey. So now it's time to save this file, flick back over into Firefox and do refresh, and we can see those rules applied. The big thing to notice is that there's a large amount of space now at the top of the DL, and we can see that if we use the outlining facility in the Web Developer toolbar. So we'll go to Outline Custom Elements. I'm going to change that to DL. OK. And now we can see the outline of the definition list in green, with this large amount of space appearing above the first picture. If we scroll down, we can see that that definition list includes all of the definition terms and data inside it. So let's start to see some magic appear. Back into Dreamweaver, I'm now going to apply some styling to the images which sit inside definition terms. And here I'm using one simple rule, which is position absolute, which will position all images which sit inside definition terms. This is going to apply to all the images in the example. But next, I'm going to apply some styling to the individual images for the named definition terms that we set in our markup. Each one's been given a top and a left measurement, depending on where we want it to appear inside that space. So now let's save the file and jump right back over into the browser and do a refresh. And here we can see the final result.